Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners just like you make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started. Well, hello, this is Kimberly. It's episode 293, and I am so excited that you're here today. Y'all, you're going to love this episode. I have a very special guest on. Her name is Tracy Hoth, and she is an organizing coach. And you're probably like, say what? An organizing coach? Oh, yes. She's a 17-year veteran professional organizer and certified life coach on a mission to empower coaches and online business owners to reclaim their time, boost their confidence, and maximize profitability through a streamlined and organized business. Oh, yes, she's helping all of us today get organized with our digital files with our business so that we can save time and we can save frustration. We can find our files. We can feel happy in our business, that we're not just like a big hot mess. And I think it's super cool. She also hosts her own podcast. It's called the Organized Coach Podcast. All of her details are down below. You're going to love this conversation because by the end of it, number one, you're going to learn the 5 file folders that you need to organize your digital files, and the only 5. Okay. I think you and I, if we're being honest, our main folders in our business, there's probably 800,000 of them. And she's narrowing it down to the 5 that you need. And she goes through these. So you are going to get a quick win here at the beginning of the episode. She's going to share these with you. Y'all, I'm so excited. I'm going to be going downstairs to get my iced latte here in a minute that I make on some afternoons. I'm super stoked. I'm going to bring it up here. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to drink my iced latte and I'm going to organize my folders. So how fun is that going to be? So she shares that with you today. And she shares her story, how she's been a professional organizer and then how she got certified to be a life coach and how this all marries together. I thought it was so fascinating. I didn't know the conversation was going to be going in this direction, but it's super cool to talk about that because there's so much more to organizing than you think. And you're going to love this episode. I mean, we even touch on things about the identity that we give ourselves and how that relates to our business. So super fun conversation. I loved it. Tracy is a gem. She's super sweet. And you can, again, all her information is below and you can always reach out to her, listen to her podcast. But I think you're going to love this episode. So anyways, listen all the way to the end. You're going to love it. And if you're new here, by the way, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I've got all of my goodies down below. 16-step checklist to start your business. Maybe if you're trying to start a podcast, I've got a free class on that. So y'all check that out below. I've got all my details there for you. And make sure you subscribe to this podcast because you don't want to miss out on any future episodes like this one that are going to help you along your business journey. So that's it. Okay, on to the episode. Well, hello, Tracy. I'm so excited to have you here on the She's Just Getting Started podcast. This is going to be a fun day for all my listeners out there. We're going to get organized with Tracy. She's an organizing coach, as I shared earlier in the intro. And Tracy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Kimberly. I'm so excited to be here and have this conversation. Anytime I can talk about organizing, it's so exciting.
What I love is that we all have our passions and skills, and yours is organizing. And there's other people that are like, oh my gosh, I want to be organized, but I can't. And it's like the people with numbers too that are financially able. That's what I'll say. They're like really good at it. And they're like, I love numbers. And people are like, no. Anyways, I'm so excited to have you because I think organizing is such an important key to our business that we sometimes overlook. Don't you think?
Yes. We always wish, and sometimes it causes this shame or embarrassment or whatever, or keeps us stuck because we're not getting tasks done because we're wasting so much time. So yes, I don't think people realize the importance of it in growing a business.
Yeah, I don't think we do either. I mean, I know we can look at what's tangible in front of us and like my desk. I'm glad the camera can't see it right now. There's a little bit of mess on my desk. I'm not even going to lie. There is. And I have 3 cups of water, which I should only have 1. But I think we overlook the digital side to our business. And that's why I was so excited to have you because this is so key. And I love what you said. Like, we could be wasting time. We don't even realize the time we're losing by having things disorganized. So tell us again who all you work with and who you help. So and then we can get into this. I'm so excited for you to share about the file folders that we need, the really important 5, we're going to be talking about that. I'm so excited, but I'd love to hear more about the types of people that you work with and how you've helped them, like what this has meant to them.
Oh, that's such a good question. I love talking about this. I help coaches and online business owners organize their business in the back end. And I just got off the call with someone, and she's had this identity of not being an organized person. She was a
Mm,
mess, and thoughts like, I can't grow my business because I'm disorganized, or I can't grow or do what I want because of disorganization. And now we have her file structure set up. We have her bookmarks bar organized. She's saving time. She knows exactly where things are on her computer. And just as we talked about it, it was like there was so much evidence. And she still has that thought show up, but there's so much evidence that her business is organized and that when there is something maybe she feels disorganized in, that she can get the help and she has the support to be able to figure that out and create a solution and then keep moving forward. And the coolest picture came to mind was like a funnel or a tunnel, a pipe, and it gets clogged. And if your disorganization is clogging the pipe of your business, it's not flowing. But when you
right.
can unclog that, it flows through. And then maybe as your business grows and different things evolve, you might still need to unclog those things. But I just love the visual of that.
Yeah, that's so true. I didn't think about that. And I love what you were saying about identity because I've gone through periods in my life where I've taken on new things, but it never felt like my identity. I remember when I was starting to try to run and do a half marathon. This was years ago. And then people would see me in my running shorts because I was trying to keep up with the things that I had to do each week. I had to run 3 times a week and do this. And they're like, "Oh, you're a runner." And I'm like, "I'm not a runner. I'm actually just trying to do a half marathon and do something." But I couldn't get that in my head. And then finally I started realizing, wait, I actually am sort of a runner right now and I'm taking this on. And then it kind of feels freeing and you feel empowered. So I love
Yes.
that you said that because I think we can label ourselves that we're not organized, we're not good at this. And you're saying we have to kind of let go of that and start embodying it. Say we can because it's going to save us time. We can actually be organized.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love is I start with the mindset and the identity that you're carrying with you and all those thoughts that are the things that are actually stopping you. But then practically, we are going to build the evidence until you have so much evidence that the other thought kind of just
Yeah,
goes away or fades
goes
into the
away.
background.
Yes. So before you work with people, what is it that you see? What's the disaster that's there? Because I think we all have digital disasters. I would like to think. I mean, if I went to my folders right now, it is organized in some ways, but it could be better. It could be better. But what
Yeah.
do you see that people are doing that is what is actually wasting them so much time? So like when you think about their folders,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Well, they're not able to find what they need. So that could be the
Okay.
links that they need to give people or the notes that they took notes with their own coach or with their clients or the worksheet they need to give to their client. Or a couple people are making good money in their business, but they're spending half the time trying to find the files that their team needs to do their job. So
Mm.
every time their team member needs something, they're searching everywhere. All the stuff is just such a mess because they've never taken the time to get it organized. And so just there is going to come a point where you're at that point.
Yeah.
It could be
Yeah.
now, it could be a year from now, but there
Right.
is a time when you will have to get it organized in and so sooner is always better, and you hear those people that are at that point, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I wish I would have done this sooner
Yeah.
to set up
Yeah.
some foundations and start training
Mhm.
your brain to think in a way that helps you." So really it's the time, the wasted time, the frustration, the shame of having it that way, all of that energy that you're spending trying to find things and duplicating and remaking and searching and all of that. That's the obvious way that probably if you're listening, you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, yes, that's
Yeah.
me."
Yeah, exactly. No, I was thinking too, do you find that we have a lot of extra files that we don't need and junk that we don't need? 'Cause I feel like I have so many files, it's just growing every year, more and more and more, and all the pictures and all the documents and like What's your thoughts on that? Do you see a lot of us carrying too much, having too
Oh,
much in our
for
folders?
sure.
Okay.
And you think of that, clutter is delayed decisions. So it's not deciding on anything
Mm,
that's on your computer. And
mm,
for us, it's easy because we can just add storage and pay for more storage and
yeah,
not have to deal with
guilty.
it. So if
Mhm.
you think of it like a house, I mean, you're paying for storage or you're smashing more stuff into the spaces that you have.
Mhm.
But then again, it comes down to, can I find it when I need it? Where
Yeah.
but on the
Yeah.
computer, it's easy. You just pay for more, and when your computer's not running well, you're like, "Ah,
Oh,
just need
I
more
know.
storage," and you just go
Yeah,
get it.
that's so true. I know I was thinking about too when went through a little bit of remodeling a couple years ago in our house. And I remember someone saying the best way to get everything organized is to get rid of like 90% of it. And
Yes.
we did. I mean, we donated so much. And I was like, why didn't I do this before? What was I doing? And yeah, like you say, like searching for things that takes you forever to dig. And now it's like everything has its place. Not that we're perfectly neat in our home, but
Yeah.
at least we know where it's supposed to go, and I labeled some shelves and stuff for clothes and things, so now it's like everything is kind of having its specific spot, so I love that when you're talking about that, all that clutter and just, trying to find things, you're just digging through and wading through stuff, it's
Yes.
wasting time, energy, and money you could be making doing something else in your business, that's so important, so I
Which
love that.
which that makes me, like, think we need to define what being organized means,
Mm,
because if we all have different pictures and we all think of some picture on Instagram or, the most organized online person you think there is, you're never going to compare to either of those. So organization just means that you know what you have and you can find it when you need it. And so that's so simple. You can be organized and it might not look like someone else or even your own expectation of what you thought it should look like. But I feel like that's such a comforting definition that you can find just by knowing that definition. You can find places in your business where you actually are organized because you know what you
mhm,
have and you can
mhm,
find it. And then the
right,
rest of it is maybe you just need to have some structures or tools taught to you that you can implement. And then the second part of that is the habits. When you said,
mm,
like, it's just the habits you have to keep it organized. If you're dropping stuff on your desktop or on the kitchen counter,
mhm,
if you have a home for it, you can quickly put it into its home. Same with your computer. Like if you download stuff on your desktop or your documents or whatever, you can quickly put it into a home if you have that structure set up. So that's kind of
yeah.
the key is having the structure so you know where things are and you know where to put them when you're doing your weekly habit of cleaning it up or whatever.
Right, right. That's so cool. Well, I'm so excited to hear about these 5 folders. Who knew that we were gonna have an episode on this? And I'm so glad that we are. So everyone listening, get ready. Maybe you're on a walk, maybe you're working out, whatever you're doing, try to memorize these. If not, take notes. I'll have notes in the show notes as well because I think these are so important that Tracy is sharing with us. And I can't wait that you're gonna help us get organized here with these file folders. So,
And I have
yes.
a free class, Kimberly, too, that they
Oh,
can just take.
awesome.
It's on my website, but it's simplysquaredaway.com/5 files, the number 5. So
Okay.
you can go and learn them, like, go find out, and
Awesome.
I show pictures even of, like, what it looks like on the Google Drive, what it looks like on your desktop, to have these set up.
Exciting. My listeners are gonna love this. That's awesome. So everyone, you're all good. Just kinda soak this in, pay attention,
Okay.
and then you can go and watch Tracy's free class. So
Yes. Okay, so if you're gonna get started organizing, people often ask, "Where do I start?" And I'm like, "Just start with digital files." I think that's the biggest
okay.
place where
Okay.
where you could start. So you start there and imagine everything on your computer all over your desk. Like every document on your computer is
That's a
now
scary thought.
a pile on your desk. Right. And we are going to sort everything in there into, I always start with the two, like we have personal and we have business. So then we just know immediately we have personal or business. When you're organizing your business, there's 5 file folders that I mean, I have worked with a lot of people and these work for almost everyone.
Mhm.
So the first one is operations. Anything behind the scenes of your business that run your
Mhm.
business. is operations. Some people might want to call it admin, change the name. I don't care, but and little tip, I like putting a 1 in front of it so that on your drive or dashboard or desktop or wherever you're storing your files, and that's something I haven't mentioned, decide on one place. The power of one is key. So you decide on my computer is where my hub is, or in my Google Drive is where my hub is, or OneDrive or Dropbox, wherever it is.
Okay.
And then you have operations. The second folder is marketing. That's anything outward facing.
Okay.
So you have inward and outward, operations and marketing. Then the next two, the third one is my content.
Okay.
And the fourth one is education. Education is anybody else's content. That could be certifications and all the freebies you download and your coaches that you hire and their information. Anything from someone else. Courses you buy.
This one is key because I know, especially during COVID when everyone was at home, I was downloading 80 million freebies from any person I could ever find. And I printed them. And I'm not kidding. I think it was like 2 years ago. I had like 2 bins full of printed paper, but those were all also digital files.
Yes.
But I had them all printed. I was like, what was I doing during COVID? I was trying
You
to
were
become
learning
a professional.
lot.
Yes. But I love that, like a folder just for education for the stuff that you get from other people. Like why? Okay.
Yes.
I don't know why I didn't totally have that.
I know.
Separated.
And it's all over. And then people are like, I don't know where I put it. But anything from someone else goes in education.
Okay. I
so
love that.
Clear.
Love
and
that.
then the fifth one is clients.
Okay.
So anything related to clients go in there. Now it's like what is that called? I always forget the name where it comes down and then it goes to
like a flow chart, not a flow chart.
Flow chart.
Oh,
Why
it is a
could
flow
I not
chart.
remember that? Yes. So it comes down into your computer. And it's either personal or business.
Yes.
And then the business, there's 5 options. That's it. 5 options. It's going to go in one of those folders. Once you get everything in your whole entire computer sorted into those 5 folders related to your business, then you follow the next step of organizing, which is to go back into each one at a time and purge. So sort and then purge. Those are the steps. I mean, there's 5 steps to organizing as well as 5 folders, but those are the first 2. So sort and purge. So go back in and purge those.
This is amazing. I need to do this today.
Yes. And you don't need to purge as you go because what happens, and this is think of organizing your closet. You walk in and you see a shirt and you're like, I need to get rid of some stuff. And you pick the shirt up and you're like, well, I don't know. I kind of like that shirt. Well, it looks really good with that pair of pants. And you're like, I just can't decide. And you put it back and you leave because it's too overwhelming to just try to make a decision first thing. So first thing is always to sort. Then you have everything related to operations in the operations file. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have 5 copies of this. Why do I have 5 duplicates of this one thing? And then it's easy to purge because you can see what you have.
This is so good. Okay, yes. I know it just makes you think about your structure of your files and even in your home. Like, what's the structure? Do we take our shoes off here? What do we do? I mean, we put our keys in the same spot now. I have everybody do that. And why aren't we doing that more with our digital files, and having those
and it's
bins
so
and
much kinder to our brain because how in the world are we expecting our brain to try to remember in all the different random times that we started trying to get organized, remember what we did? It's like, and then we're spinning all over. And all it takes is to have a structure. And that's why organizing your business, you more than likely, and I hear so many people say this, even people that have ADHD or have a neurodivergent type of brain style, thinking style or whatever, they all say, like, I can get organized. I just don't know how to do the first part, or I can use a system. I just don't know what to do to begin with.
Right.
Like, yes, then get help. But people think I should be able to do this. I should know how to do this. Why can't I get this done? Something's wrong with me. It's like, no, nobody taught us how to organize. we don't know. And why not get the help you need to get the structure set up? And then it's like, oh, this flow chart, it just flows in and you keep training your brain like that. And you use that same structure in your email and in other places. And now all of a sudden, you're like, it's easy for your brain.
It does feel freeing, right? It feels like a weight has been lifted off when you get all of this organized. And then when someone asks you to find something, you need to look at something, you're like, oh, I think I know where it is. Instead of being like, okay, give me 15 minutes. I got to dig.
Totally. And pretty soon you're going to be like, do you want me to share my screen while I find it? Because my files are color coded and
And they look at me, wait, you're going a little too far. I don't know about that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, that's amazing. Yeah. Then by that time, you're like so proud of it. You want to show everyone that you actually organized it. I think
yeah.
that's so cool. But yeah, I love that. Operations, marketing, my content, education, and then stuff for your clients.
Yes.
That's so good. Yeah. I'm gonna be taking this on today. Well, what I think is so cool is that you didn't start out as a digital organizer. You were actually a home organizer. Tell us about that. I think this is so interesting for my listeners, especially because you're all business owners or soon to be,
Yes.
and your business will and can evolve based on your skills. So I think this is a cool story, and I would love for you to share it.
Yes, I love hearing people's stories. So I
Mhm,
started
mhm,
out when my youngest daughter, I have 4 kids, started preschool,
mhm,
and I started thinking, I'm gonna help people get organized because they would say like, "I can't go on a play date. I can't go to the park because I
mhm.
gotta clean my house," or whatever. I'm like,
Right.
"Ugh." And so I'm like, let's get organized. So I was just started helping people in their homes and offices and every part of their life you can imagine. I've helped someone organize. I developed my 5 step spasm. We can talk more about that, but I developed
Mhm.
those steps. Then I started speaking on the topic of organization and productivity. So back when we did teleconferences, I had classes on that and then slowly, got on Zoom, had classes. And then in 2018, I just knew it's such a physical job. Like it's a big
Mhm. Yeah.
physical job when people are needing help with that. And so I'm like, what am I going to do after this? And I went and got coach certified and really learned about our mind and how our mind works and our identity with being organized and letting things go. A lot of people struggled with letting things go and just started learning about all of that. Started moving my business online. I had grown my email list because of the speaking that I did and stuff.
Mm.
And so I started doing that online. I started getting clients online and helping them and as I grew my own business, like, I don't know, I never organized a digital, computer business
Right.
before. And I'm like,
Right.
this is hard. Like, this is messy. I don't know where anything is. I needed to use the steps that I taught people in their homes and apply them into my own business. And then I started figuring things out. I started learning like how to simplify it so much. So I run my business from 4 dashboards and it's so simple and I use my bookmarks bar to find everything I need and it's so easy and I'm like if people just knew this, it would be so helpful.
Mm.
Especially people that hadn't been organizing for 15 years,
Right. Right.
already
Right.
knew how to do it. It was just a
Right.
base. And so then I started helping coaches and business owners organize their business online, like the back end of their business. And I just love it. I love thinking that they can do what they are gifted at and what they love and
Mm.
make an
Mhm.
impact in the world just because I can give what I'm good at to them and help them get their business organized.
Wow. And that's so cool how it evolved. Like you were actually doing the physical work. And I can relate to that too, because a lot of my listeners know I had online gift boutiques. And in the very beginning, when I was a lot younger, in year like 2000 up to 2003, we were doing a lot of shows, like vendor shows, and taking our merchandise and schlepping all the bins. And it was like physical too. And it took the whole weekend and all this stuff. And you start kind of realizing, maybe I don't want to do this piece of it forever. So I can relate to that where you're like, it's a
Yeah.
physical job. I can only imagine helping people organize their homes, how much that actually is, and sorting and like purging and all the stuff you're talking about. I can't
Yes.
imagine. And so I think it's really cool that you saw this need And it was timely for what is happening in the world, that we're all becoming more digital beings. We're going to all be AI bots, I'm sure, by the end of it. No, I'm just kidding. But how everything is just progressing, and that we have to be smarter about how we run our businesses from the digital perspective. And so I think that's so cool. And what I think it's neat too that you just pointed out, and for everyone listening as well, is to think about how your gifts are being used to better lives for other people out there, whatever that is. And so Tracy's gift is to help with the organization and keeping it simple, obviously, and making it very intuitive. So we're not wasting all this time, energy, and money in our life while we run our business. And you're doing that too. And whatever you are offering in your business, whether it's products that bring joy to people or that help organize or save time or save money or help relationships, realize that your gifts can be used for greater. And I think that's really neat that you shared that, Tracy. I think that's so important. So tell us about, so you help people do it. Like, I want to hear more about exactly what you do. So you go in and do you help them one-on-one? Do you do a group program, or how do you do it to really help people get the most benefit from your services?
Yes, I have 3 ways that I help people. One of them's one-on-one. Some people are just like, I don't want to join anything. I don't want to follow anything. So we do one-on-one work, and it's totally customizable to what they need. And it could be a combo of business and life or home or whatever. I do all of that. Then I have Organized Life Academy, which is in its 5th year. And that's something I started with normal people, as I call them, like non-business owners. Although some of them are my business owners.
We are the crazy people, aren't we? There's normal people who are not business, and there's all of us.
Yeah. And that's a year-long program, and we go through our whole entire home, and I have declutter calendars and routines that we're kind of implementing, but it's all about the home and life. And then I have Organized Coach Academy, which is business organization. And in that, there's 6 modules where we work on their identity and what they think about themselves. We work on their digital organization, organizing all the assets that they have in their business, organizing their time, and organizing the processes that they have and documenting those, and then organizing for a launch, like getting ready. Okay, we're here to make money, obviously, and we want a repeatable process for making money, whatever that might look like. So we focus on those 6 areas. And that's kind of a hybrid. It's a course that you get lifetime access to right now. And I have 2 calls a month in there, an implementing call and a Q&A call.
That's amazing. So that's so neat how you took your business online. Not only are you teaching how to stay organized digitally, but also that you took your business online and you really are providing online programs. So people anywhere around the US can, or worldwide for that matter, can.
I know. Someone just joined from the UK and one from Australia just last weekend.
That is
so I'm like, it's so fun.
That's so neat. And how did they find you?
Well, I don't know that for sure. I've reached out and asked them. I don't know if I've heard back yet.
But
I'm thinking from a podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm not
Most
sure.
likely. Yes. Yeah. So tell us, when did you start your podcast? Share a little about that.
Oh, 2 years ago, I started.
Okay.
And I actually, though, had a podcast back in 2014.
That's right. I forgot you told me that before. I mean, that is crazy. 2014, you are a massive dinosaur in the podcast world.
Yes.
I mean, that's like before podcasts were podcasts, right?
Yes, it was so fun. My friend and I did it together, and it was like around home organization. And I was the professional organizer, and she was the clutter-free wannabe. And we interviewed, like, Peter Walsh was on our podcast. So if anybody knows organization, he was, I don't even know, some home sweep thing on cable back.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, we had so much fun. We called it our radio show. Yeah. But we did that for a year. And then she went on to do other things, and I kind of went back to my business. But but the Organized Coach podcast I've been doing it for 2 years this month.
Wow. That's so exciting. And you just started it on your own and were like, I'm doing this. I'm starting a podcast about organizing.
Well, you think of your long form content that you want to do. And me thinking about that, what would be easier? And I wanted to keep talking about my concepts and learning and just being able to verbalize them. And it was like, it's that or YouTube or blogging. And I'm like, let's do it. I mean, I already did a podcast. So, I kind of know how to talk a little bit.
That makes it easier. I know, speaking of that, I was gonna ask you that, like, kinda how you narrowed it down because a lot of my listeners have their businesses that they're trying to get growing, and they're like, "Okay, how do I do this? Do I do stuff locally? Do I speak? Do I you do local networking, or do I just go all in on Instagram? Do I build a YouTube channel? Do I start a podcast?" For me, it was pretty obvious what I wanted to do with the podcast, and I was just curious for you. I know you've already had a podcast, so maybe that was the obvious choice, but did you consider or try other methods before you jumped into the podcast, and what happened?
Well, I think back when I was organizing in people's homes, I started speaking locally, and that was huge. I grew my
Mhm,
email list from speaking. So I think that's such a vital area. If your
mhm,
ideal client, if you can find them locally and speak to
mhm.
them, or
Yeah,
even now online, like I
right,
still speak in people's groups and memberships and as the expert guest that comes in and teaches. And so
right.
that's such a valuable resource. So speaking, but then, yeah, I mean, with my online business, I think for me, it's networking, being in a group and being super active
Mm,
so that I meet people and
mm,
am seen as the expert, I guess, and that
right.
my name stays in front of them if they ever need help. That and my podcast are probably my two
Yeah,
biggest resources.
yeah, that's great info, and when you say being in a group, what do you mean by that?
Well, even if it's a paid group, like if I'm
Okay,
paying a coach who has a
right,
group or a membership or whatever, make sure I'm active. Like, make sure
right,
I'm giving value and asking questions and showing up to calls because I I mean, I this is my thought. I always get clients. Not that I'm trying to get clients, but that I am building relationships and if my ideal client is there, I want to be showing up and giving
right.
value.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
so that works and that works for me. But also, like I'm in a networking group and I'm even considering like going on a retreat that has my ideal clients there and building relationships in that way. So it's been
Yeah,
fun. Like this, I focused on ads at a time in my business, and I still have one of my ads running now, but this year I'm kind of focusing on
mhm,
connecting
yep.
and building relationships and stuff. So, it's
I
fun just
know, ads,
having.
it's tricky. I find ads very tricky. It's like, do you go in with cold audience? Do you go with warm people that already know you and you're trying to leverage that and the cost? But I think nothing beats real connection, like you're saying. I think nothing beats that. And I love that you've got kind of this web of things that you're doing that are bringing people in.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. And you've been in business. So you've been in business since 2018, but you started the podcast 2 years ago. Am I right
Well,
on that?
yes, been in business since 2008, been a
8.
coach since
Been a coach.
2018.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And
And then
you were certified life coach as well,
right.
is that right?
Yes, that's my certification is from the life coach school.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's so neat. Yeah, I've heard about that. People seem to really, really like it. That's an
Yes,
amazing
it was
thing.
really good.
Yes, and when you decided to get your life coaching certification, how did you think that that was gonna integrate into your business? Like, what was your vision for that?
Well, first, when I decided that, like I found her podcast, Brooke Castillo was the owner, and I found her podcast and loved it, joined her group, and then just knew like this is what I want to do that's going to integrate and help clients that I already have. Like I could keep my business going in the same direction with my email list that I had. But I remember trying to decide if I should do it. It was a ton of money. And we had
Yeah,
4 kids and I only, like, kinda worked part-time in my
right,
business, and
right.
so, when I hit that button, like, I literally thought I was gonna throw up and,
Yeah,
like, submitted my payment and stuff. It was such
mhm.
a scary thing, and the thought
Yeah,
that I kept thinking was, "I am 100% all in on this. I will make my money back and more, and I'm 100% all in." I just kept saying that to myself
yeah,
'cause,
yeah,
like,
you
for
have
a
to.
week,
Yeah.
I felt so sick and so scared,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, I can understand that. So that gives you getting that certification, does that help you deal with the things like the identity and things that we do to kinda sabotage ourselves? That what do you see as the way that it integrates into helping your clients?
yes, definitely the identity that they have. And like when you have those thoughts that you're messy and you were told that your whole life that you are a messy person and you even tell yourself that and you laugh about it and say it out loud that behind the scenes is just a hot mess or whatever. all of those thoughts, like, how do we untangle that? Because we have to untangle that to become a different person, that to become the person that is able to have an organized business.
Mhm.
And so we have to be able to untangle that, build some new things into our mind, and then support those so that we can continue to believe that until it all becomes like, this is just who I am. It is
Right.
obvious now, and it's been a step-by-step process, and it's obvious, and now I am free in my mind, and all that clutter of all those thoughts, now it's no longer there. All my energy can go into my clients and can go into creating content and creating programs that help make you money and grow your business. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, all of that identity work really does come from my certification, because before that, it's kind of funny. Before that, I really thought, like, people couldn't get organized unless I was there with them. I'm like, "This person is never gonna get organized unless I'm there."
Right.
And so when I started my online, like, helping people get organized just online and me not being with them, I was like, "I don't know if they're ever gonna be able to do it." But we coached, we saw what their blocks were, their mental blocks. I helped them create a plan, and then they did. I mean, it was so awesome to see. Like,
Yes.
it works. Like, people really can do it when they know why they couldn't do it before because of what they were believing about themselves.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating, and just thinking about you having those beliefs about them is
Yes.
is a whole whole 'nother thing that you're thinking, "Oh, they can't do it," and it almost has it seems like it's made you grown, and you realize that when someone is empowered and you have that gift of empowerment, they
Yeah.
can actually make that change, and you're like, "Holy cow, it's even more drive for us to use our gifts and to show up for them
Right.
because we
And
don't know
to
what they're
coach
capable of."
deeply. Like,
Yes, yes.
the more time I take to coach the mindset, and not that I tend to be an action person, like, I'm like, "This is what you need to do, this is how you do it," like,
Right,
I'll give
right,
you all the practical,
right.
but definitely I have to make myself stop and think, "Okay, I'm hearing this thought. What are you believing? Let's untangle that." And then let's build something. What else? What other area of your life can we look at where you really were organized or are organized? You just don't even realize it. And it's so cool because almost everyone I talk to and work with has an area of their life. Even if it's like meal planning, they're pretty good at meal planning, or they take care of their kids. Like, they have their kids to all their activities. Like, you have to be organized enough to be able to do that. Or they got a degree or they got a certification or whatever. Like, they're organized in some area of their life. And we kind of pull some of those beliefs and thoughts into their business and get it done.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's just really cool. I think this marriage of your life coaching and how it's integrated into your organizing business, and I think it's good for everyone to hear that, to realize that it's not just surface level of what you offer, right? There's
Yes.
something deeper. Maybe it's a roadblock you get them past, or that this whatever they're buying from you can mean so much more to them. And I think about it in my business, just helping people see, oh, we're not just about starting a business. I'm helping you live a more purposeful and fulfilling life through your business and maybe the podcast as well. Right. And so when we dig deeper into that, it touches people in a different way. And I think that's what's cool about your business and your interesting situation, because it's not like I hear every day that an organizer has a life coach certification. And you might think those are two completely different things, and they're actually not. You're showing that they're actually in the same realm, right? One is
Yes.
affecting the other, and it goes for all our relationships in our life. Arguments aren't just surface level. They're deeper. They're what is the
Yes.
meaning behind, and to not carry these identities and say these things that are just incorrect. And so anyways, I just think it's cool as I'm just sitting here listening to you. I'm fascinated by that. It's this interesting combination. And I think it's really cool that you've taken your business into current times of digital organization and help, your clients get past these roadblocks and everything, and then get everything organized so they can run their business more efficiently and help more
I
people.
know. Yes. And one thing that comes up when you were saying that end part is I also want people to think about getting organized like a project. Like they are going to attack it like a project. They're going to set a time frame around it, and they're going to get all those foundations and structures in place. And then they'll work on the habit to keep it that way. Like the habit part is what keeps you organized, but getting organized is like, think of it like a project, because some people just think, okay, I'm going to try to get organized. They'll do one or two things and then, it kind of falls by the wayside. And then it's just more proof that they're not. And so giving yourself a start and end date that you're going to focus on this, like I use the 12-week year type planning system, or quarter one, you're going to work on organization, and that's going to be your project for the quarter. That just seems so much less, this is going to drag on forever.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like boundaries on ourselves. Can't let things drag on. We have to have a deadline and be like, okay, we got to get this done over that amount of time. And I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Tracy, this is so awesome. What a fun conversation. And I'm about to get organized today. That's all I'm saying. After we get off, I'm getting
your deadline is 24
coffee.
hours.
I think it actually should just be a few hours. It should be like 5 p.m. today. I'm going to go get my iced coffee. I'm going to bring it up here. I'm committing to myself right now. I'm saying it to the world. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to get my folders organized. This is just an amazing quick win, I think, for all of us.
Yeah,
quick win. To do this.
Get on there and make your folder.
Yes. And to realize, too, that we don't have to be labeled as disorganized or any of that. We can put all that aside and we can get our businesses running smooth. And that's what you're here to help us do. So I love that. And why don't you share, too, how people can get in touch with you, follow you, listen to you. If you want to share anything, I will have it all in the show notes for everyone. But in case they're listening, just to go ahead and shout it out to them so they'll know.
Yes. Go on simplysquaredaway.com. That's my website. And everything is on there that you want. If you're ready to get your business organized, Organized Coach Academy is open right now. The price is about to go up. So jump in there.
Yes.
And what's cool is I have to share that I have a custom bot now in each of the modules in there. And so we have Mindy, the Mindset Mentor. She helps with your identity. And anytime, my clients are saying, anytime I feel overwhelmed, I just go in there and I use Mindy. And she's trained in all of my things. So she's in there. I have Flo, the workflow wizard, who, when you're ready to document some processes, you go in there and she helps you do that. And so it's even a more fun experience because these custom AI bots are in there to help you along.
I love it. You're just all in on the tech, and I think it's amazing. I know everything's just moving this direction. I'm just wondering over the next few years, what is going to happen with all of our digital teachings and everything we're doing in our business? Like, how is this going to evolve? I talk about it with my husband all the time. I just sit there and go, what's coming? Like, I can't even imagine.
All the movies from the 80s are coming
I know. You're like, what is happening? But I love that you have all that integrated. I think that's so cool. And you're right. It makes a more fun experience as we're learning and trying to do things. Well, that's awesome. Well, everything's listed below. You shared it, and your podcast again. Do you want to share that? I'll have the link too.
Yep. The Organized Coach. Get in there and listen. We talk about all sorts of things, our businesses and life. And everything.
Great episodes. I love it. And I think it's amazing. Well, it's been such an honor to have you, Tracy. This was so much fun. This is a totally different conversation than I've had with a lot of people on the podcast. So I think it'll be really valuable to my listeners. And I appreciate your time, and you're just a joy. And I respect you so much for what you're doing. And thank you for being here today.
Oh, I'm so grateful. Kimberly, this was really fun. Thank you for letting me be on your podcast and talk about organizing.
You're so welcome. Have a great day.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.